Heartwarming moment, little girl, 8, discovers amazing love as K9 hero changes everything in snow. In the small Midwestern town of Brookside, something extraordinary was about to unfold. 8-year-old Lily didn't just feel invisible, she was practically a ghost, drifting through hallways filled with laughter that didn't include her. The bite of winter chilled her bones, but it was the taunts of her classmates that cut deeper. They called her poor girl and laughed as she tried to squeeze into conversations. They didn't know about her mother, a spirited waitress who worked double shifts every day to keep food on the table. They didn't see her mother's tired eyes or the way Lily felt her heart sink whenever friends were made without her. One frigid afternoon, almost desperate to disappear into the snowflakes swirling around her, Lily stumbled upon something that would change everything: a scruffy K9 named Max. He was a retired police dog, with soulful eyes that seemed to understand her loneliness. She knelt in the snow, her breath visible in the bitter air, and whispered, "Hey there, buddy." Max looked back, a wag of his tail stirring warmth in her chest. In an instant, spending afternoons with him became the best part of her day. He was more than a pet, he was her brave sidekick, encouraging her to stand tall against the bully's words. Their bond was transformative, knitting a fragile thread of hope through the fabric of their isolated lives, but as snow fell heavily on Brookside, a vicious storm rolled in with it. Lily watched with wide eyes as fierce winds howled outside their weathered house. Just then, Mrs. Thompson, a veteran neighbor who lived alone, needed help. Max sprang into action, his instincts kicking in. "No, Max. Wait!" she yelled, panic threading through her veins. But he was gone, darting into the blizzard, a hero stepping into an ocean of white. Lily's heart dropped like a stone as the door slammed shut behind him. Hours went by, and the storm made it impossible to see anything but white. As the town tucked itself under the blankets of snow, a ripple of concern spread through the community. Lily knew Max was out there, searching valiantly, like the hero he was. For the first time, the faces that used to ignore her joined together, whispering, "We'll find him." They rallied, neighbors grabbing shovels, flashlights, and courage. Laughter and kindness replaced judgment, stitching together stories of resilience and hope amidst despair. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, with vets, children, and even the town's harshest critics joining forces. Hope flickered like a candle in a blizzard. "He's a good boy," a neighbor announced, and others chimed in, sharing their stories of kindness. Lily felt her heart swell, breaking through the curtain of isolation that had enveloped her for so long. And yet, as the night wore on and the storm raged, she could feel fear creeping in, a gnawing ache in her stomach. Max was not just a dog, he was a piece of her heart. As the snow continued to pile up, Lily stood alone by the window, the light from the street glowing faintly against the dark. Would her world remain scattered? Would the kindness of this new community turn into another fleeting moment? She gripped the window sill, determination flooding her veins. With mounting urgency, Lily decided she had to be brave, not just for herself, but for Max. With every search, her world could change forever, and maybe, just maybe, they'd find more than a dog, they'd find belonging. The wind howled outside, mocking Lily's quiet desperation. She held tight to the window sill, her heart racing. The community was alive out there, but her brave little K9 was alone in the storm. As the hours dragged on, she couldn't shake the feeling of helplessness. "Come on, Max," she whispered to herself, imagining his familiar bark and the comforting weight of his body beside her. She imagined him navigating the blizzard, his keen nose searching through the white for Mrs. Thompson. Would he be scared? Hungry? Or worse, lost, Lily wiped tears from her cheeks as she turned her thoughts to the search party forming outside. She felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they would bring back the one love she couldn't bear to lose. False dawn broke over Brookside, but it wasn't bright, it was just another sheen of relentless snow. The local newspaper had caught wind of Max's disappearance, and the message spread like wildfire. Local hero missing in blizzard. The headlines shouted. People were mobilizing, families bundled together, children bundled in layers of coats, forming a makeshift formation. Lily clutched her heart, overwhelmed with gratitude. These were the same faces that had ignored her, the same kids who whispered behind her back. And now they were together fighting for Max. The power of their collective love was palpable, igniting something within her that she could hardly recognize. "Is he out there?" a boy named Jason asked, his breath puffing in clouds as he joined Lily at the window. She nodded, wiping her tears on her sleeve. I think so." He reached for her hand. "We'll find him. Let us go help." For a moment, fear warred with the warmth of hope. Before she could say no, before her doubts could drown her spirit, she found herself nodding. "Okay, let us go." They bundled up, slipping into boots that crunched over the snow. With Max's leash clutched tightly in her hand, she felt a spark of determination thrust her forward. The small crowd outside was a kaleidoscope of familiar faces. Mrs. Thompson had joined the effort, staring at them through shivering lips, her eyes glowing with gratitude. "Thank you all for being here," Lily called, forcing herself to sound brave. She didn't just want to find Max, she wanted them all to find unity. As lanterns lit up along the street, they formed a chain of light, battling against the deeper shadows of the storm. Shovels struck against the frozen ground, laughter tangled with the biting air. Each person shouted Max's name, infused with urgency. Lily's heart swelled. Together, they created an echo, a soulful harmony that made even the storm second-guess itself. But as the minutes dragged by, the cold began to seep through her layers. Shadows loomed, doubt began to whisper its ugly fears, and her heart clenched tight. What if the storm had been too powerful? Just then, a howl shifted the air. It was faint, a chilling yet familiar sound. Lily froze, the world around her fading into a quiet hush. Was it her imagination? "Did you hear that?" Jason asked, gripping the corners of his coat, eyes wide. Lily nodded, hope renewing its desperate grip. "That was Max, I know it was." With newfound energy, she pulled Jason into motion. "We have to go." And as they moved forward into the swirling snow, a collective breath held in hopes and dreams, Lily realized something profound. This journey, fueled by friendship and courage, was transforming who she was. But would it be enough to guide Max home? She shivered not just from the cold, but from anticipation. With every step, she felt the ground shifting beneath her life. The night wasn't just about finding a dog, it was about discovering herself, bound by love and community. And at that moment, she knew everything was changing. But how far would they go to find Max? The blizzard roared around them, snowflakes twisting like tiny dancers in the freezing air. Each step felt heavier than the last, but Lily pressed on, clutching Max's leash like a lifeline. Jason matched her stride, his breath quickening in the icy air, his eyes darting around as if expecting Max to burst from the snow at any moment. "Over there!" a voice called out. It was Mrs. Thompson, pointing toward a tall drift. Her breath clouded in the air, but determination set her features. The community surged toward her, hope igniting their pace as they sought to reach the spot she had indicated. Lily's heart raced as they approached. Doug, one of the older boys, started digging furiously. "He might be buried," he shouted, plunging his hands into the cold white. "Max!" Lily screamed, her voice a fragile thing lost in the howling wind. "Max!" As if the world paused, her call seemed to echo back to her. The anticipation hung thick in the air, every heart beating in sync, drawn by the shared worry. With each scoop of snow, Lily felt the warmth of the crowd behind her. Each face was a glimmer of hope, and even in the relentless cold, something bright flickered inside her. Doubt tried to creep back in, but she pushed it away. The community was strong, and together they could do anything. Suddenly, Jason stopped, his gaze fixed on something in the snow. "Look! Over there!" He pointed with wide eyes, directing the group's focus. The thrumming of her heart quickened. A small shape moved beneath a pile of snow. For an instant, her breath caught in her throat as the shape shifted, then the snow fell away revealing a familiar muddy paw. Max! The relief flooded through her like a warm tide. Max! She rushed forward, her heart leaping as she dropped to her knees, her hands suddenly numb from the cold. Jason joined her, and they dug frantically. The others rallied around, uncovering him bit by bit as Max struggled to get up, his fur frosted, eyes wide with confusion but sparkling with recognition. When he finally stood, shaking off clumps of snow, Lily wrapped her arms around him, crying out in joy. "Oh, Max! You're okay." Her tears melted against his warm fur as he whimpered, leaning into her embrace. The sound was a melody, a soothing balm to the frantic worry that had clawed at her heart. Cheers erupted from the group. It was a chorus of relief, a collective sigh escaping lips that had been pressed tight with dread. Faces that once averted their eyes now beamed with pride and camaraderie. "Look at him!" One of the girls laughed, brushing stray snow from Max's coat. "He's an ice hero." Even Mrs. Thompson, once burdened with her own fears, knelt beside Lily and Max, tears glistening as she spoke. "You did it, sweetheart. You brought him back to us." Lily felt lighter, like the storm was finally lifting. She caught Jason's eye, and together they shared a grin that promised a newfound bond. An unspoken understanding passed between them. They were no longer just a girl and a boy in a small town, they were part of something bigger, a tapestry woven with hope, bravery, and love. But as the last of the cheers faded into the wind, a sudden chill washed over her, deeper than the cold of the blizzard. Max's tail wagged, but something was off. He sniffed the air, ears alert, and turned toward the woods beyond the street. "Max?" she whispered, feeling the pull of worry again. In that moment, something deep within her shifted. Wasn't he just going to take him home? They had to explore, to discover what else lay beneath the snow, what secrets the storm had hidden. What if it wasn't he just Max they found in the wild night? As they stood there, surrounded by the warmth of the gathered community, the scene shifted. Max barked, a fierce call of urgency that echoed through the bitter wind. The adventure wasn't over. "Come on, Max. What is it?" With the storm still swirling fiercely, she made her decision. Lily took a deep breath. They would follow Max whatever lay ahead. She had come this far and she wasn't turning back now. But what lay beyond the trees? Would they uncover more than they bargained for? Max bounded toward the woods, his paws cutting through the snow with purpose. Lily felt her heart thumping in sync with his eager steps. Jason hurried beside her, words tumbling out in a rush. "What do you think he senses? Something's out there." "I don't know, but we have to find out." Lily's voice trembled with both excitement and fear. The trees loomed ahead, their bare branches swaying like skeletal fingers against the swirling wind. Snow clung heavily to their trunks, creating eerie shapes as shadows danced beneath the canopy. The air felt electric, charged with anticipation. Max paused for a moment, looking back at them, his eyes bright and trusting. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the community trying to hold on to her from behind. They had just experienced a miracle together, and now she would step into the unknown. "You ready?" she asked Jason, who nodded, determination etched into his face. Together, they plunged into the thicket, with Max leading the way. The deeper into the woods they traveled, the quieter the howling winds became. All they could hear were their crunching boots and Max's excited barks as he darted, nose to the ground, sniffing out something hidden. "What do you think it could be?" Jason pondered, his eyes scanning the horizon of white. A lost animal? Or someone else in trouble? Lily shook her head, her imagination painting pictures of all the possibilities. Whatever it is, I hope it's not bad, she murmured. A shiver ran down her spine as the trees closed in around them, their eerie stillness amplifying the tension. Just ahead, a low growl reverberated through the air, making the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. Max's ears perked up, his stance tense. Is that him? She whispered, heart racing. Suddenly, Max barked and charged forward, leading them around a bend. Lily and Jason stumbled after him, startled by what they found. There, half buried in the snow, was a small creature, shivering and alone, a young deer, tangled in brambles and semi-conscious. Oh no, Lily gasped, her breath fogging the cold air, we have to help him. Jason rushed to Max, who was sniffing and licking the deer gently, as if trying to reassure it. Lift twigs away, he instructed, pulling out his gloved hands to help. But as he reached down, the deer startled, eyes wide with fear. It struggled against the thorny branches, panicking. Lily knelt close, speaking softly. It's okay. We're here to help you. Her voice broke with emotion, feeling drawn to the fragile creature that reflected a lonely vulnerability. Jason slowly inched closer, extending his hand in a calming gesture. We've got you. Just hold on. Together, they worked, caring fingers digging through the snow, carefully freeing the deer from its entrapment. The little creature trembled, but gradually, as they cleared the brambles, it began to calm. With one final tug, the last of the branches broke away, leaving the deer free but exhausted. It looked up at them, its big eyes holding a glimmer of trust. She's beautiful, Lily said softly, feeling a powerful connection to the small creature. Jason's hand rested on her shoulder, a shared moment of awe wrapping around them like a warm blanket amidst the cold. As they knelt there, a wave of realization washed over her. They saved a life, and in that, they found their own hearts growing even larger. Lily smiled at the deer, who slowly stood, wobbling on its legs before taking tentative steps away. But then, something shifted in the silence. A larger shadow broke from the tree line, moving toward them with a slow, deliberate pace. Max stood protectively in front of Lily and Jason, growling quietly. What is that? Jason breathed, stepping slightly closer, a sense of urgency in his voice. Lily held her breath, eyes widening as the mystery of the woods began to unfold. What had they stumbled into? What else was out there hidden in the blistering blizzard? She couldn't shake the gnawing sense that this was just the beginning. As they prepared for what was to come, a realization hit her. Sometimes, finding yourself means uncovering the unexpected, and when you think you are brave enough, life dares you to be even bolder. But in the shadows, what was approaching remained uncertain and intoxicating. Lily's heart raced as she squinted into the dim light filtering through the trees. The shadow grew clearer, a massive form emerging from the swirling snowflakes. Her hand instinctively gripped Jason's, both of them frozen in place, uncertainty weaving through the air like a thick fog. Max, easy boy, Jason whispered to the dog, whose low growl persisted. There was loyalty in Max's stance, a promise that he would protect them no matter what. The air was charged with tension. As the silhouette drew closer, Lily could make out the thick coat of fur, the powerful build of an animal she recognized all too well. Is that a wolf? She breathed, fear mixing with fascination. The animal's fierce gaze met hers, and for a moment, everything else faded away. The wolf paused, its breath visible against the cold, tension vibrating between them. It was majestic yet terrifying, embodying the wild spirit of the woods they ventured into. What do we do? Jason's voice cracked, panic bubbling beneath the surface. Just stay still, Lily urged quietly, knowing that sudden movements could provoke a reaction. They had come to help a creature in need, after all, maybe this one could sense that too. The wolf stepped forward, muscles rippling beneath its fur. Max barked again, defiance radiating from him. Lily stroked Max's side softly, trying to reassure him. "It's okay, Max. We're not here to fight." The wolf tilted its head, observant, as if trying to understand the two humans and the dog before it. With each cautious step, it drew nearer, its eyes never leaving theirs. There was a raw intensity in that gaze, a wildness that stirred something deep within Lily. She glimpsed the freedom and loneliness mirrored in the wolf's eyes, a creature that belonged to the shadows of the woods. Suddenly, the deer they had rescued emerged from behind a tree, its body trembling but determined. It stood a few feet away, pale and fragile against the stark white of the snow. The deer seemed to sense the wolf too, fear threading through its delicate frame. "No!" Lily exclaimed, instinctively stepping forward. "Please don't hurt it." To her surprise, the wolf halted, nose twitching as it sniffed the air. In that moment, it seemed the universe held its breath, and Lily could feel the connection binding them all, each creature, so very different, bound by the fragility of life itself. What happened next was a dance of instinct and necessity. The wolf circled the deer, assessing, but instead of launching a predatory attack, it moved deliberately, nudging the deer with its snout in a strange display of affirmation. It was as if the wolf was recognizing the deer's struggle and offering solace rather than seeking a meal. Lily's breath hitched, and Jason let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "What is going on? Why isn't it attacking?" I think Lily hesitated, eyes darting between the wolf and the deer. "I think it understands. It knows this isn't a time for fighting. There's a bond between them." As if on cue, the wolf turned, looking straight at Lily with an unexpected gentleness. That fierce glint in its eyes softened, replaced by a knowing gaze that stirred something profound inside her. In that sacred moment, surrounded by nature's feral symphony, the boundaries of fear began to dissolve. She was witnessing an unspoken connection that was both terrifying and beautiful, a reminder of the wild's unpredictability and the capacity for compassion even in the harshest of environments. But before she could fully grasp the significance of what was unfolding, a sudden crack echoed through the trees, as if the forest itself was shifting. The wolf's demeanor changed in an instant. It was on alert, ears perked, body tense. "Lily," Jason whispered urgently, pulling her closer. "What was that?" Lily's heart sank. The shadow of danger loomed ever nearer, and the tranquil moment was about to be shattered. What lay beyond the woods? What more awaited them in this unforgiving landscape? Max's growls intensified, the icy wind whispering secrets of what was to come. They were standing on the edge of something significant, a moment that could change everything. The crack sliced through the stillness like a knife. It echoed ominously, sending a shiver down Lily's spine. The wolf snapped back, every instinct honed, and for a heartbeat, the world around them felt frozen, caught between the raw essence of survival and untamed compassion. "What was that?" Jason's voice trembled, but Lily didn't take her eyes off the creature before them. The wolf, a guardian of this wild realm, now seemed poised to protect them or flee, guided by its instincts. The deer, trembling, pressed closer to the earth, trying to meld into the snow. "Stay close," she whispered, gripping Jason's hand tighter. She could feel his pulse racing, matching her own. Max let out a low growl, eyes darting, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Then, from behind the trees, shadows emerged, more wolves. They were sleek, almost ethereal against the snow, their eyes glimmering like sapphires. The pack moved with silent grace, confidence radiating from them as they formed a semicircle around the deer and the first wolf. It was fierce and awe-inspiring, a sight that had the power to both wonder and terrify. "Are they protecting it?" Jason murmured, his voice barely more than a breath. "It looks like they are," Lily whispered back, her heart racing. The lead wolf, perhaps the alpha, stepped forward, its posture commanding yet calm. The whole scene felt like an ancient ritual, one that transcended any understanding of the human world. Lily couldn't help but feel a connection, as if the very essence of nature was being revealed to them. Yet, the sound that broke through the trees again sent a jolt of fear through her. It was closer this time, a harsh, predatory growl that reverberated through the wind. The pack stiffened, their eyes shifting. They were no longer just spectators but participants in a struggle for survival. "What do we do?" Jason's voice shook. "We need to stay put," Lily replied, the determination clear in her voice. "We can't intervene. This is their world." It felt both terrifying and thrilling to witness this raw contact with nature. The pack of wolves circled tighter, a collective shield guarding the deer. For a moment, the threat of the unknown seemed to dissipate, replaced by an incredible show of solidarity. But as tension drew their breaths tight, an enormous shadow burst into view, crashing through the underbrush. A wild boar, massive and furious, barreled into the scene. The wolves shifted immediately, their demeanor transforming into one of fierce protection. "Run!" Lily shouted, instinctively pulling Jason back. But they were rooted to the spot, eyes wide and hearts racing, unable to look away as the confrontation unfolded. The alpha lunged toward the boar, teeth bared and growls echoing through the forest. It was a dance of danger at its most primal, a brutal reminder of nature's harsh realities. Lily's heart felt heavy. She had come just to help, to heal, and now they were witnessing a brutal land of life and death. Yet within the throes of fear, something profound blossomed. The wolves were not mere predators, they were guardians, family, entwined in the fabric of this wilderness. Suddenly, a soft whimper pulled her back. The deer had taken a hesitant step forward, drawn into the fray, uncertainty in its delicate eyes. "No." Lily felt a surge of panic. Was it overstepping, or did it believe it belonged here amongst the untamed? In that vulnerable moment, everything hung in the balance. "Will it fight?" Jason whispered, his voice thick with urgency. Before she could respond, the world shifted again in a breathtaking instant. What did the deer truly understand about fear and belonging? And would the bond forged in that frozen moment be strong enough to withstand the chaos of nature? As the air crackled with energy, the outcome of this encounter would test not only the wolves but the very essence of their roles within this wild. There was no turning back now. The air thickened with suspense as the boar charged forward, its tusks glinting with menace under the gray sky. The alpha wolf remained steadfast, muscles tensed, fur bristling. Lily's grip on Jason tightened, her nails digging into his palm. There was no room for hesitation now, only instinct. "Don't move," she urged, her voice barely above a whisper, as if any sound could tip the balance of this fragile tableau. The deer stood frozen, seemingly caught in the fierce energy of the moment. Its delicate frame quivered, sensing the potency of the threat before it. It had ventured forward, drawn by an instinct deeper than fear, a desperate need to understand its place in this harsh reality. As the boar bore down on the wolves, the pack shifted in unison, adopting a defensive stance. The air buzzed with urgency, the wildness surrounding them palpable. The alpha lunged, closing the distance with breathtaking speed. Their clash was explosive, a whirlwind of power and primal instinct against survival. Lily felt her breath hitch as the two forces collided. The noise, a cacophony of gnashing teeth and growls, punctuated by the boar's furious grunts, was overwhelming. Yet, amidst the chaos, she caught a fleeting glimpse of the alpha's strategy. It wasn't just a matter of brute force, there was cunning in its actions, a dance of strategy born from years of experience. "Look!" Jason whispered, pointing as the other wolves joined the fray, a coordinated movement that spoke to generations of learned behavior. Some circled around the boar, trying to distract it, while others took direct swipes, aiming for the softer underbelly. Lily felt a wave of admiration wash over her. This was more than survival, it was a bond, a commitment to each other, echoed through the snarls and barks. The connection they shared was drawn straight from the heart of the earth, an unbreakable thread woven through trust and loyalty. The deer, seemingly forgotten in the mounting tension, took another tentative step closer, drawn to the chaos like a moth to a flame. Suddenly, the alpha wolf's eyes darted back at it, a flicker of recognition that held within it promise and reassurance. It wasn't just about the fight, it was about family, about protecting one another. Lily Jason's voice trembled, pulling her attention away. She turned to see the fear in his eyes mirrored by her own. Their lives, their perspectives, and their understanding of the world were irrevocably on the cusp of transformation. "Stay here," she said, weaving her thoughts into calm determination. But inside, her heart was racing. They could witness the birth of intuition, the most profound understanding of how survival was not merely about life or death but about connection, love, and sacrifice. Just as the Alpha landed a blow, sending the boar staggering, a new sound broke through the symphony of chaos, the ringing howl of the pack's victory cry. Instinctively, the deer bounded forward, its spirit ignited by the powerful display of unity. But the boar, refusing to succumb easily, charged back at the wolves, fury blazing in its eyes. "Watch out!" Lily screamed, a rush of adrenaline flooding her. She felt Jason's body stiffen next to her, fear etched deeply into every line of his face. Every instinct urged them to retreat, to escape this brutal wilderness of survival, but could they simply turn away? Suddenly, without thinking, Lily stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. She had to do something, to protect both the deer and the noble pack. But would one human voice be enough in this world ruled by instinct? As the pack clashed with the boar once more, her breath caught, a deep sense of dread washing over her. What would happen next? How could she possibly intervene in a battle that was not hers to fight? The moment felt suspended in time, begging for a decision. Hers was trembling on the edge of a precipice. Would she dare cross into this wild world? And what lessons might await on the other side? Before Lily could second-guess herself, she surged forward, drawn into the whirlwind of chaos. The world around her grew distant, her focus solely on the wild flurry before her. She could feel the energy pulsing through the ground, a vibration that echoed the very tension in the air. Would her small gesture matter in this moment of unforgiving nature? "Lily, wait." Jason's voice reached out, but she barely registered his words. Her gaze was locked on the Alpha, now entangled in a fierce struggle with the boar. The sound of snarls and grunts grew louder, surging as the adrenaline of the moment coursed through her veins. With fumbling steps, she edged closer. "Let it go!" she cried, feeling a rush of defiance. The boar's eyes flashed chaos, its instinct screaming for survival. But she needed the wolves to see the bond she sensed within them, the deep-rooted connection that tethered them all together. Maybe it was the sincerity in her voice. Maybe it was the sheer audacity of a human stepping into nature's theater. But just then, the alpha wolf paused. Its growl softened, if only for a heartbeat, curiosity igniting in its eyes as they met hers. In that fleeting moment, something powerful sparked between them, a bridge built on danger, but also on hope. The boar took a tentative step back, reassessing the threat before it. Labeled both fierce and confusing, the primal instinct within it seemed stilled by Lily's presence. The air felt electric, charged with belief that anyone, in whatever form, could reach out in a time of turmoil. "Now!" she urged, her voice suddenly fierce, as if giving the command. The Alpha seemed to understand, fueled by their silent connection. With renewed determination, the pack surged. They worked as one, pressing the boar back, their movements harmonizing in a display that felt like a symphony of nature. Lily's heart soared as the wolves maneuvered, their strength overwhelming the boar. She found herself cheering, not knowing if it was truly the wolves she was supporting or the raw spirit within her own chest, the struggle of standing up against anything life threw their way. Then, just as she thought victory was in sight, the boar heaved back, its tusks carving out a last desperate attempt at freedom. Time seemed to stretch. She could feel Jason's fear pulsing beside her, but she stood her ground, heart racing for both the deer and the wolves. "Together!" she shouted, as if filling the air with the chorus of unity. The pack reacted, a show of pure elegance in the face of danger, biting with calculated precision. Fur clashed against mud, and the world narrowed down to that frantic clash of instinct against instinct. In that moment, everything else vanished: the trees, the remnants of her old life, the worries that plagued her thoughts. It was just them, the wolves, the boar, and her. She was part of this fight now, willing to embrace the wild and fight for what she believed in. The wolves worked relentlessly, and the boar began to stagger once more. The tide was turning, but even as panic threatened to rise within her, she felt hope blossom in the pit of her stomach. Then, the unthinkable happened. As the pack closed in, the boar let out a final feral grunt and broke through them, racing past a stunned Lily. She felt the rush of wind against her face as its massive body thundered away into the forest. Victory echoed in the air, but a heavy silence settled within her soul. Had they truly won? She felt the energy shift, the connection she had forged with the alpha wolf, the wild essence of nature that coursed through their blood. Standing there, heart pounding, she turned back to Jason, who looked both awestruck and bewildered. "Did you see that?" She breathed, a mixture of disbelief and exhilaration flooding her. They were incredible. But Jason's eyes were not filled with joy. They were clouded with something else, a haunting whisper of fear and concern. "What if they come back?" he asked, glancing nervously at the dense thicket. From beyond the trees, the wilderness remained quiet for a moment too long. And in that silence, Lily's heart sank, an unease creeping in. They had fought against one threat, but were they truly safe? Just as the adrenaline began to fade, it dawned on her that their ordeal wasn't over yet. The balance of survival in the wild swayed on a razor edge. What lay ahead? Would she still have a place in this fierce world she had stumbled into? And what would she choose to do next? Lily's breath hung in the air, a frosty cloud that dissipated into the stillness. Jason's gaze darted around, his worry palpable, and suddenly, the adrenaline rush felt more like a distant memory than a triumph. The raw excitement of the moment began to fade, replaced by an uneasy silence. "Lily, we need to move," Jason urged, his voice low but urgent. He gestured toward the trees, shadows stretching like specters across the ground. "We can't stay here." But something inside Lily anchored her. She stared at the fading tracks of the boar, her heart caught between two worlds, the safety of retreating back to the known and the fierce pull of something more visceral. She had reached for the wolves, made them see her as part of their world. Could she now just walk away as if none of it happened? "I can't," she replied, shaking her head. "Not until I understand what just happened." Jason ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling beneath his skin. "What do you mean?" "It's risky. What if they come back?" "That's exactly why I need to stay," she shot back, thoughts racing. "I felt something with them, Jason. There's more at play here than just a hunt. I have to know what connects us." Just then, a rustle in the underbrush caught their attention. They both spun around, hearts drumming like the thunderous footsteps of the boar moments before. The alpha wolf stepped forward, emerging from the thick foliage. Its eyes shimmered, piercing through the remnants of tension still lingering in their air. Lily felt the weight of disbelief. The alpha was back, but now it moved with a different energy, less aggressive, more curious. It took a tentative step towards her, tail in a low wag. "Lily!" Jason warned, but she took a step forward, drawn again into the wild's embrace. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, steadying her breathing. The alpha paused, as if weighing her presence. For a moment, they stood facing each other, two beings connected across a vast chasm of nature. All around them, the world felt expectant, waiting for something. Then, a sudden growl erupted nearby, breaking the moment. A low rumble vibrated through the ground, pulling them back to the reality surrounding them. The sounds of the forest morphed from tranquil to foreboding. More beasts stirring. Jason's eyes widened, and urgency surged through him. "We really need to move. It's getting dark, and they might not be the only ones out here." Lily turned to him, a battle of her own emotions gleaming in her eyes. Did she want to flee or face the unknown? "Just give me a minute, please," she implored. "I have to find out what this means." Jason sighed, torn. Their escape route seemed to shift with every growl that emanated around them. "If you're going to stay, I can't leave you alone." "No," she interrupted, determination thick in her voice. "Stay with me, but let me connect with the wolves. Please." As Jason hesitated, the alpha wolf circled around her, stepping closer, shifting its weight as if urging her to embrace the moment. Lily felt a rush of warmth. Maybe she wasn't alone in this wildness after all. But another growl echoed deeper in the woods, the unmistakable hint of danger. Jason's grip on her wrist tightened, and she saw the fear in his eyes. Whatever they just witnessed was about to take a darker turn. "Lily," he spoke, but she silenced him with an expression. "I need to understand just how deep this goes." The forest seemed to hold its breath, poised for action. Would the wolves truly accept her as one of their own? Would they be allies or foes in the coming storm? Then, without warning, the forest erupted. A flash of movement darted through the trees, and Lily's heartbeat quickened. As the shadows closed in, she realized she was teetering on the very edge of something monumental. What awaited them in the deepening twilight? Would she emerge as a bridge between two worlds or find herself lost in the chaos? The air felt electrified, as if the forest was alive and whispering secrets of forgotten legends. Lily stood firm, heart pounding, the alpha wolf close to her side, its presence grounding her in a chaotic world. She could feel Max at her feet, courage filtering into her with each breath. Jason's eyes darted around, anxiety palpable, but Lily steeled her resolve. "I can't turn back now," she said, her voice a firm whisper. She faced the alpha, grounding herself with an understanding deeper than words. She felt their spirits intertwine, binding them by a purpose far beyond mere survival. They were on a precipice, a moment of change that could reshape their fates. Suddenly, more growls erupted from the thicket, shadowy figures emerging from the dusk. A rival pack appeared, lean, tough, and hungry. Tension mounted as the wildness in the air thickened. The alpha wolf stiffened, protecting the deer and Lily. Its eyes glinted with fierce determination. "Stay by me," she whispered to Jason, pulling him in closer. The wild animals didn't focus solely on the deer, they recognized the intrusion. Lily felt a surge of energy, a visceral pull to defend, to find strength even when the odds felt stacked against them. "Here." She pointed, spotting an ancient tree trunk nearby, gnarled and strong, sheltering them momentarily. "We can use it for cover." With quick movements, Lily and Jason darted behind the shelter. Max remained loyal by her side, each breath matching the wolf's steady assurance. The two packs faced off in a taut standoff, the alpha growling, asserting its authority. But just as the first of the rival wolves began to move, a chilling howl cut through the air, a cry of acknowledgement. The scene paused, hearts beating in unison. Slowly, the alpha wolf shifted, glancing back at Lily, as if to say, "Now is your moment." Lily straightened up, drawing upon every ounce of bravery she had ever fostered. "I know I'm not part of your world," she began, her voice cutting through the tension, "but I can help. We can work together if you let me." The opposing pack paused, uncertainty flickering in their eyes, as the wildness swirled with curiosity. She took a step closer, emboldened by a fire inside her. "There's enough strength for everyone. If we unite, we can be family. We can protect each other." With a sudden burst of action, the alpha lunged forward, encouraging a response from the pack. To her relief, the tension broke, the rival wolves hesitated, ears perked as curiosity met courage in the heart of the storm. "They're listening." Jason gasped, the reality hitting him. "Together!" Lily cried, feeling the determination flow through her. This was no longer just a fight for survival, this was about camaraderie, community forged in the heart of adversity. The opposition felt it too, their growls softening. In that single heartbeat, strength and unity radiated through them like the blinding sun breaking through clouds after a storm. The rival pack began to shift, the wolves lowering their heads in solidarity, recognizing the power of their shared struggle. Then something incredible happened. The alpha stepped closer to Lily, nudging her gently, signaling for her to remain strong. In turn, she felt the warmth seep into her heart, binding their fates with a sacred promise. "Let us protect this land together," she exclaimed, her voice rising with fervor, awakening a shared spirit that thrummed beneath the surface. And just like that, the pack opened up, merging sides, each creature acknowledging its neighbor with a newfound respect. Through the shadows, they became a singular force united by love, bravery, and an understanding that echoed throughout the valley. As night fell and the stars began to light up the sky, Lily felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She hadn't just become part of a pack, she had woven a tapestry of connection that crossed beyond the bounds of species. Max wagged his tail, joining the celebration of togetherness. Lily turned to Jason. "Look what we did," she said, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. "Together," he replied, beaming, words laden with promise. With each heartbeat, they had found their belonging, a family forged in the wild, revealing that love transcends everything, even the harshest storms. As they stood surrounded by the wolves now united, they understood that sometimes the fiercest places could become the safest. "Let us go home," Lily said to Max, her voice steady and sure. As they turned back toward Brookside, momentum carried them forward, a spirit ignited by courage that would last a lifetime, echoing their adventure through town and beyond. But this was just the beginning. Discovering their capacity for kindness made them realize they had the power to transform fear into hope. Together, they could face anything, and as of this moment, they vowed to do just that. Now friends, if you felt this journey in your heart, I need you to hit that subscribe button immediately. You don't want to miss exclusive stories like this. Let us feed the algorithm. Hit like right now and leave your thoughts in the comments. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this transformation, and together we can make magic happen. Don't wait not even one more second. Show your support.